A country in search of a new idol. Two antagonistic cyclists racing for the same team. Attacks, stabbings, clashes in press and media. Do you want to know what happened during the 1998 Vuelta a España? Follow my wheel and I'll tell you. It was September 1998, and there was strange weather around the Vuelta a España. More than strange. Expectant. Nobody really knew what was going to happen with the first big race after the Tour de France that same summer, with the Festina Affaire, the Albertville sit-in, and Pantani's epic victory. The Spanish teams had withdrawn from the French round, creating or resurrecting a contrary feeling towards the northern neighbors that had quite a lot in common in Spanish sport. The Vuelta itself shortened the route of a stage so that it didn't step on French soil. It was an anomalous environment, with Spanish media and fans gripped by exaggerated patriotism. It was just the right climate for a new cycling hero within Spain, orphaned since the retirement of Indurain in 1996. This search for a new hero brought with it one of the most controversial Vueltas in the history of the race, with a fierce fight between two contenders, not only from the same country, but from the same team. Two antagonistic cyclists who divided Spain for 21 days of a fratricidal and fierce struggle that transcended the sport, even reaching radios and facing great journalists and experts of the two-wheeled world. Jose Maria Jimenez had Chava by nickname, and fans adored him. He was tall, dark, thin. He was arrogant, with a touch of sympathetic cockiness, without mincing words. And he was good, very good. In addition, Jimenez was a climber of those who like people, of those who have one good race and three bad, of those who lifted us from the seat with attacks impossible to follow, or with sinkings impossible to explain. Slender legs, easy smile, and a style on the bike, making her dance from side to side, which made her slender figure even more showy. He came to Banesto team to work for Indurain in the mountain, and after his retirement, little by little, he was gaining prominence as a climber within the peloton. He soon won the affection of the Spanish fans for his character and his way of riding a bicycle. Jimenez was a typical Spanish climber with thin ankles and immense feinting. Of those to go away in each mountain and to caught in each descent, thus he became an idol. The Vuelta of '98 would catapult him into a myth. However, Chava didn't start at the visible head of his team for that Vuelta. That was Abraham Olano, his nemesis, a hard-working cyclist, time trialist, who passed the mountain badly and recovered in the descents, sometimes without reaching the first group, but never giving up. He was the man who carried the heavy burden of being the successor of the irreplaceable Miguel Indurain, something that, without a doubt, weighed down his career forever. Quiet, discreet, and somewhat surly, but all in all, a more reliable athlete than the most reliable Jimenez seen before that September 1998. During that first part of the race, Chava was irrepressible. He was awarded the first mountain finish with the final climb in Choret de Cati, showing himself as the strongest in the mountain. And people went crazy. His face donned newspapers, appeared on television. His sarcastic humor began to creep into every home. But the leader, in the yellow jersey, wasn't him. It was the other, Olano. And it's that everything that the Chava gained when the road looked towards the sky, he lost it later in the time trials, where it was a complete disaster. Olano swept his rivals in the time trial of Alcudia, where his greatest rivals, Fernando Escartin and Chava Jimenez, lost a lot of time. But what really makes people fire up are the climbers. Chava, who already had the affection of the Spanish fans, managed to win two more stages in Andorra and Kerler, where his partner and leader Olano was managing, with much effort, his advantage against the great climbers. In this way, his team, the tumultuous Banesto of that 1998, was in an ideal race situation. It has in its ranks the leader and best time trialist, and the second or third of the general and best climber. Surely, on paper, an enviable situation, but cycling is capricious, and everything exploded. Stage 16 arrives with a finish on the hard ascent to Lagunas de Neira, and after some attempt by the riders of the Kelme team of Fernando Escartin, Chava Jimenez attacks. It's a direct and frontal attack on the leader of his team and the race. And after Jimenez's attack, the leader, Abraham Olano, broke down. El Chava entered the finish line victorious, reaching the peak of his popularity. And with a fervent hobby, Olano became, in the absence of foreign rivals, the official bad guy of the film. And then the blockbuster became a soap opera. During a primetime radio slot, a woman takes the spot. She claims to be the wife of one of the cyclists of the Vuelta and describes the unpleasant pressure she must endure and the stabs her husband is receiving even from his team. The call is anonymous, but someone recognizes the voice of cyclist Abraham Olano's wife. The event is taken advantage of by the media in what becomes a struggle where everyone has to take part. Or you position yourself with Chava, handsome, friendly, climber and half bullfighter, or with the lonely Olano, the sacrificial lamb who was suffering in all mountains and whose wife called the radio station to defend him. The balance was clearly uneven. Chava, who always liked popularity, enjoys the situation. He doesn't say one word louder than another, but he's delighted in his role as a savior hero. The idol of Spanish cycling was being elevated too quickly in an exaggerated way. It would be a constant in his later career, even in his life. Jimenez came to snatch the leader's jersey from his teammate in the Navacerrada stage, but with few real options to get the victory. He was separated by 39 seconds from the Spanish time trial champion, something completely insurmountable for a cyclist of the characteristics of Jimenez. In the end, Olano prevailed on the road, and Jimenez could only be third, ahead of a young Lance Armstrong recently recovered from cancer, in that 1998 Vuelta that divided Spanish cycling and its fans into two antagonistic camps. Chava Jimenez became the fashionable athlete, remaining in the memory as one of the best climbers that Spain has given, and Olano, quietly, got his only victory in a Grand Tour. A milestone which, together with his triumphs in the World Championships and other victories, make him one of the best Spanish cyclists in history. Thank you very much for getting here. If you liked the video, subscribe and click like. You can collaborate with us by activating a super thank. And if you want to continue enjoying with the best Spanish cyclists in history, don't miss this.